Subscribe to his channel, follow me on Instagram and send me a DM over there and you get a chance to win an iPhone, a Samsung phone or even a Casio watch. Yes, this is our first ever giveaway and we're giving it away to one of you lucky subscribers. So do subscribe and follow me on Instagram to win the iPhone. Guys, how you all doing? I hope all of you doing well and all of you are safe with your families at home. Well, welcome once again to the Me and My Car section, or you can call it, of course, the car ownership section, the Me and My Car section over here. And today we've got my good friend Ashit Chakravarty with me in this video, who's got a Ford Ecosport. It's the automatic version of the car, so it's of course the petrol version, and he's been driving this car around for the last couple of years. So today we'll ask him about his ownership experience with the car. What other cars he's had in the past and why he ended up buying the EcoSport, and that too, the petrol automatic. So over to Ashit now. He'll give us a brief about himself and tell us about his car journey over the years and why he got the EcoSport.
So my car buying journey has been pretty interesting. I think my first car I bought was in 2008. It was a Hyundai Santro, and a very interesting story with it. Ashish was with me when I bought the car, and we were getting out of the showroom, and I had cold feet. So Ashish actually drove the car home. So he actually was the first driver on the car. We went over, had a very fun sort of a road trip together. Goes back many journeys. Then subsequently, I bought a Volkswagen Polo, and that was again blue. It's been with me for around 7 years. I had the top model of the Polo. Was a fantastic car. I think the build quality, the ownership, I had no such issues with it. The Santro, of course, to close the story on it, got stolen. So that will always be a small sort of regret about the car, on your first car. So this one was growing up, and while that was happening, we realized that we needed a little more space, and I was in the market looking for cars. I think the Venue had gotten launched at that point. I saw the Creta, and in between, while I was making these decisions, we had gone on a small trip with our friends to Spiti. And we happened to take his EcoSport. He had one with the He had an EcoSport with the EcoBoost engine, and we drove it, and we did a full circuit from Delhi to Spiti and back in the car, crossing nalas, and we realized the efficiency and how safe the car is, how stable the car is, how good it was to drive, and then that started lingering in my head. In between, I would be usually using my car to drive to work. And as much as you may try, you do end up hitting a lot of traffic here in Gurgaon. And I did start feeling the pain of having a manual. So an automatic became another an option, which I started considering. At some point, I'd zeroed on this car, but I think it was luck that I was looking at Spinny. It's a car buying website. They sell used cars. Right, so I was looking at the Spinny site and I saw this one there, and I said, it had done some 9,000 kilometers. So I went, saw it. It was a great experience. I got a good deal on it. So I picked this up. It's an automatic with, and I think one of the features why I ended up taking this was the 6 airbags that comes with the Ford, and its build quality. So it's a fantastic car to drive. I've been taking up in the hills. Where my mother stays. I go to visit her often. So it's a highway again. I've never faced any problem either in inclination or anything of that sort. And it's got hill assist, so it's a very easy car to drive up the hills. You can just take your foot off all the pedals. The car won't go anywhere. From a manual car, though, you do have a compromise on mileage. I think that's a very real thing to know. But I think what you get in return in terms of comfort, and especially 8-hour, 10-hour journeys, you feel very relaxed.
So guys, that was about why he got the car, how much he got it for. He hasn't told us. How much you pay for it? How much you save on a new car? Because you're looking at a new car. How much cash do you save? And what kind of economy does it give you? on a regular basis, what is the maintenance cost? Because a lot of people want to know about Ford maintenance. They probably have one of the cheapest cars in terms of maintenance costs. So, what is your take on that?
So a few parts to it. So I was in the lookout. I was looking out for an EcoSport top model at this point, and I just happened to visit the Spinny car website, and I saw that there was a great deal there. So I ended up saving around 2.5-3 lakhs on the new model. Yeah, this is a top model. Yeah, it was 9,000 kilometers it had done. There was nothing wrong with the car. Everything was great. I think there was the only model change that happened. They changed the sizes of the tires. It's an R17. Okay. They've made it an R16 now. Okay. Some tire issues, I guess, but nothing that I faced right now. Okay. So yeah, I got to save good 2.5-3 lakhs. Then I think your next question was on how much of a mileage does it give. So yeah, like I said, there is a bit of a compromise in if you are driving an automatic. I mean, that's something you must know. But I think 2 kilometers for the quality of ride, the quality of comfort is worth it. So it gives me around on a highway, and that's a good one. It will give me around 14 kilometers. That's a fully loaded car. I had this car absolutely loaded, including a seat down, and with a lot of stuff. We had moved in for 3 months to the hills, so when we're coming back, this pretty loaded. So around 14. On a daily basis, it gives me around 10, 11. And if I'm stuck in some peak traffic, then of course it does compromise around 9 or so. And the other thing that you asked was on the maintenance cost of the car. So yeah, I mean, like we in our house we've had a Maruti, Hyundai, Volkswagen and a Ford. There is no such problem that I feel with the cost of the car. As far as the maintenance cost is concerned, it comes to be around 8,000 or so, 8 to 10,000 rupees annually, between that range. And that covers for regular maintenance, etc., etc.
Annually, you mean like
annually, yeah.
2 services or 3 services?
If you do 1 in 10,000, okay. So right now it's not running much. So obviously that's gone down, and then of course if you invest in getting a Teflon coating, etc., that's over and above.
Well, so I think Ashit has almost covered whatever I wanted to ask. Also, he's covered. But I'll ask you a couple of more questions. The first one is: do you think that this car still makes sense? Because a lot of people out there have got a lot of new options. You've been driving it for 2 years. You've really lived with the car. Do you think that it makes sense for new buyers to consider the EcoSport? And also, any negatives that you can think of, that you can think maybe Ford should improve on this current version or the next version when they plan to launch it? Just tell us your thoughts about that.
No, I don't think. So I think it's one of the few cars that's aged gracefully. And yes, of course, if you look at the new Kia models, they look terrific. They've got a better quality of interiors, they're feature loaded, etc., etc. So of course, there is a bit of a loss in features as compared to the newer ones. But it's a fantastic car to drive, and I did drive the Venue, and I'm assuming that it won't be very far from the Kia as well. And I did find the quality of drive to be very good. Why this makes sense? The build quality on the Ford is unmatched. So yeah, the build quality on the car is fantastic. I mean, when you close the door, you can hear a nice, very comforting thud. Gives you a sense that you're sitting in sort of a tank. The other bit on it is it's a great drivetrain, drives very smooth. It's got a 1.5, no lag in the engine, very smooth car to drive, handles very well. But yes, I mean, it has a few features that will get dated. Though I like the touchscreen personally. I mean, but I'm sure there are better versions of it. I have the Sync 3 as compared to the Fly Audio that they're giving out right now. Right. So the Sync 3 is much better as a touchscreen. If Ford was to improve the car, I mean, frankly, I don't see much of a problem. Nothing that I can. Maybe the overall interiors have aged. You can see that a bit, though they've kept it very subtle. So it isn't something that would be like bothering you a lot. But maybe that's become a little older. But I don't really see much of a problem with the car at this stage. I mean, whatever it would probably be a generational change, I'm assuming.
Well, so guys, I think what we've made out of this story today, the video today, is that Ford customers, and especially with the EcoSport, are more or less happy. Ashit is very happy with his car, and he's happy with the handling, the build quality, the features, the safety kit, because this one has 6 airbags as well. And overall, even though it is starting to look a little outdated now, he's saying, but even then, since he's driven the other new rivals out there, he's saying that this car still is a class above and a benchmark in the segment, really, in terms of the driving bits. Now, Ashit, just wrapping it up with the final question. If you plan to upgrade maybe in the next year or so, next 6 months, what do you think will be your next car? And will you go for a SUV, big SUV? What will be your next car? Just tell us that.
So yeah, there are no plans to upgrade for the next 6 years, maybe, or 5 years. To be very honest, it's got pretty much all the gizmos that I'd want in a car at this stage. Yes, maybe in a few years down the line, I would probably look at. I would stick to something to do with an SUV. The new Safari looks fantastic, so that could be something. You never know how that shapes up in the next few years. But yeah, it'll probably be an SUV. I found a lot of utility for an SUV as compared to a sedan. This is a sort of a stepping stone towards buying a full proper SUV, though it does its job fairly well with a decent ground clearance, etc. So I think I'll stick with an SUV. Let's see when that happens. I'll probably decide on the car then.
So, guys, that was Ashit Chakravarty with his thoughts about his Ford EcoSport petrol automatic. And if you want to know more about this car, you can always check out my review of the car. I'll put the link in the description box below, or you can click on the I button and even see its comparison with the venue that I've done. So you can check all those videos out. Thanks, Ashit, for being on our show today. Thanks for your time. And guys, if you want your car to be reviewed in this section, then let me know on my Instagram. My Instagram handle is flashing below your screens also, again in the description box. And once, of course, you do DM me there, message me over there, I'll get in touch with you and figure out how we can meet and we can film your car as well. It's bye for now, and thanks for watching.